Welcome everybody to our workshop proposal webinar 2022. We have another annual conference. This is going to be the 20th annual conference for Visión y Compromiso. And my name is Lady Freire. I'm part of the subcommittee of program for the conference. And we have three more mates this today. Maria Gallardo is also part of the committee, and we both are going to be in the chat answering questions. And the presenters today will be Mayra Rubio Diaz and Mireya Muñoz. They are part of the committee for a long time, so they know a lot about what is the conference and how can we help you with your proposals. So I'm going to pass the mic for them. Please do the comments on the chat. This webinar will be recorded, and that's it. Thank you, Mireya and Mayra.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Mayra Rubio Diaz, and I will be presenting along with Mireya Muñoz. And so just for starters, I'd like to welcome to our workshop proposal webinar. Visión y Compromiso would like to say thank you for your interest in submitting an application to present a workshop at their 20th annual Promotor and Community Health Worker Conference. The theme that was selected for this year is the role of the community promotor in creating equity and a culture of prevention. The conference is going to be held on Thursday, October 6th through Saturday, October 9th, and it will take place at the Los Angeles Sheraton Gateway with special guests for their plenaries. The annual Promotor and Community Health Worker Conference is organized by Visión y Compromiso in collaboration with a planning committee that is comprised of promotores and other community and organizational leaders. The goal of the conference is to create a space where experiences and ideas can be exchanged among promotores that foster the learning of new skills and knowledge to unite around advocacy efforts for our communities. The webinar is to review the proposal application and answer any questions you may have about the process. You are welcome to ask questions, and we ask that you please use the raise hand feature, or you can write your questions in the chat and we will address them at the end if they haven't been addressed already during the presentation. The workshop proposal date is Tuesday, June 14th. All components of the application must be submitted at the time of submission. We will not consider any proposal if it is incomplete or if it is submitted after June 14th. Everyone who submits a proposal will be notified of acceptance or non-acceptance via email no later than July 28th. If your proposal is accepted, all the facilitators must participate in an online orientation webinar that's going to be scheduled on September 8th at 9 a.m. We will provide logistical information and address questions or concerns regarding your presentations then. If your workshop proposal is selected, the facilitator and their organization will be responsible for the cost of travel and lodging at the conference. Visión y Compromiso does not provide an honorarium to the facilitator for participating in the conference. However, Visión y Compromiso will waive registration fee for the day of the conference, the day of your presentation. So if a presenter is only attending the conference the day of their presentation, there will not be a charge. If the presenter is attending additional days of the conference, they will be charged the reduced fee that corresponds to their group. And that means whether if they're a promotor or a non-promotor. In order to best meet the professional and personal training needs of promotores and community health workers, the program committee reviewed past comments and suggestions from past conferences. Additionally, current trends in health, education, immigration, and other topics that are of interest are considered when planning the topics for the conference workshops. Please review the following categories to identify the one that best represents your workshop proposal. And we'll go over these more in depth later on in the webinar. Now there are 5 workshop types. We have formative, educational, and this type of workshop will facilitate an educational or formative process that incorporates critical thinking activities about the subject matter. There's also skill building. This type of workshop will focus on the process of applying and practicing information in a manner that is practical, experimental, and interactive, and uses strategies and methods appropriate for building skills and abilities. There's also participatory research, and this type of workshop will include research information that is relevant to promotores, research that includes promotores as participants or promotores as research partners. There's best practice. This type of workshop will focus on sharing models, examples, effective and innovative strategies that are creating change. Then we have program development and sustainability. This type of workshop will highlight important elements to initiate, implement, evaluate, maintain, and advocate for a program. Please pay close attention to the descriptions of each level of content. We have and or skill. And then we ask that you please consider the level of experience of your audience with whom you will be interacting during your presentation. You are asked to choose a level at which your content and or skill development will be presented. This level will be reflected on the registration material, and promotores will choose to attend your workshop based on the level you indicate. We have fundamental, which is designed for a promotor at any level who seeks information and or skill about the topic for the first time. This workshop supports a fundamental understanding of the topic upon which to later build more advanced content or skill. We have intermediate, designed for the participant who has a fundamental understanding and practical experience with the topic, and who seeks to update and deepen their understandings of its content and skill application. Advanced. This is designed to present and discuss content and skill for participants who have a high degree of mastery of the topic and who seek advanced understanding to train, evaluate, and or create programs related to the topic, such as practice, evaluation strategies, or program development. The targeted audience for the conference are young promotores and the general public, male promotores, program directors, coordinators, and managers. This year, for the first time, the conference will be held in a hybrid format, meaning that we will have virtual and in-person workshops. And we'll talk more about that later on as well. We strive to make the conference as relevant to promotores and community health workers that we support throughout the nation. The majority of our conference participants are Spanish-speaking promotores and community health workers. However, we do have some English-only speaking participants, and we do provide interpretation for those who request it. To better serve the conference participants, our program committee has set up the following requirements for the workshop. Workshops must be developed and presented entirely. This includes all handouts and materials. We require that you design your workshop to be interactive and encourage discussion, networking among the participants. The use of popular education methodologies is strongly encouraged. We suggest that your proposed presentation be designed to meet the various needs of promotores and community health workers. Please consider that participants may have different levels of experience and knowledge about the subject you propose. We strongly encourage you to submit a proposal that integrates a holistic approach to your topic. Take into account all aspects of people's needs, including psychological, physical, social. Keep in mind the use of new technology. If there is any type of application technology related to the topic, we encourage you present it. Submit all materials, meaning PowerPoint presentation, handouts, flyers, resources in digital format and in Spanish. These materials will be provided to all conference participants throughout the web link. Submit only one proposal application per workshop. Workshops must be 2 hours in length and must include the following: 5 minutes for welcome and introduction of the presenter by the workshop moderator, 110 minutes for presentation of content by the facilitators using interactive and experimental adult learning methodologies. Within these 110 minutes must include a space for questions and answers. We strongly recommend using an interactive methodology to stimulate questions and answers throughout the presentation. 5 minutes for participants to complete the written workshop evaluation that will be provided by Visión en Compromiso. Workshop facilitators will work with a promotor moderator, which is assigned by the program committee, who will provide the audiovisual equipments requested, introduce the facilitator to the audience at the beginning of the workshop, act as a timekeeper, and coordinate the collection of the written evaluations that are given at the end of the workshop. Upon receipt of your proposal, an email will be sent to you as confirmation that we have received your proposal. If your proposal is incomplete, we will also return it to you. You'll get a notification saying your proposal is incomplete, and you will have until June 14 to resubmit it for it to be considered. If you're mailing a proposal, we ask that you please ensure it is postmarked on or before June 14th, or else otherwise it will be considered late and we will not review it.
All right. Okay, well, thank you, Mara. And I know that Marisha, you had a question. I don't know if it pertains to what we covered now. It might be answered later on, but I just want to make sure if there's something urgent before I go into my section.
Oh, no, nothing urgent. I can wait. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you, Mara. Okay, so now I will take you through the process of actually, the proposal review and selection that we have. So again, the goal is, all proposals submitted must reflect, like Mara mentioned, one of the topic descriptions, right? Whether it's mental health, personal development, and those 6 categories that we have. That the workshop also, you identify what type of workshop it is, if it's fundamental, best practices, and so forth, and also the level of the content that we talked about. The content and topic of the proposal workshop is relevant to the promotores. We want to make sure that it addresses their needs or something of interest to the promotores as well. And also that your proposal, has a very clear goal of what you want to accomplish during the workshop, as well as 1 to 3 objectives that are clearly articulated and defined. Okay, so that when people sign up for it, they have that information. Again, presentation methods, we want you to be, relevant in terms of being very descriptive of how you're going to present the information, the content, the frame, the time frames are consistent with what Myra mentioned about, making sure that it's 110 minutes within that, and also that it meets the proposed objectives and lesson planned. We want the proposals to reflect that it's, creative and practical ideas and approaches to the workshop topic as well. Okay, next slide. And also, we want to make sure that, again, proposals ensure that it is that you have a holistic approach and is integrated into the content of your workshop. The presenter will support his or her workshop with vetted information as well as experience, available literature, and any related studies, so that promotores can refer to that information. Proposal contains all the information required on the submission form. That is very important. We want to emphasize that. We'll emphasize that throughout the presentation today. And any additional information about the workshop will also be considered, right? For example, if the workshop has been provided to promotores in the past as well, or past conferences, we want to make sure that, we're not repeating the same, subject over again. Okay, next slide. So a proposal will be considered will not be considered if the following are, are missing or following reasons. Number 1 is that the proposal is incomplete. Number 2, that it was not submitted by the due date, which is again June 14th. And number 3, that promotes or markets a product or service at a cost. A product or service may only be included as part of a complete list of resources that the participants can receive, and that have been submitted with the proposal and have been approved by the program committee. We want to emphasize that. Okay, As mentioned before, everyone who submits a proposal will be notified of the selection by email no later than July 28th. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, the list of contacts are listed here. Lady Ferre and Mayra Rubio will be happy to assist you in answering any questions related to that. If your proposal is selected, the facilitators must attend an online orientation webinar on September the 8th from 9 to 10 a.m. Okay, it's very important for that to keep that in mind if you are selected. So this is a snapshot of what the proposal form looks like. So we'll kind of go over that information, making sure that all the information is submitted. So for the facilitator, provide the following information for each of the presenters that are going to be presenting at the conference. If the workshop has more than one facilitator, add a sheet with all the required information, and no more than 3 facilitators per workshop, excluding, for example, a panel of presenters, for example. Okay. The workshop title, please provide a descriptive and inviting title. That seems to be a challenge. And again, please use up to 5 characters or 5 words at max. We suggest between 8 and 10. Because definitely, the spacing is limited. So we want to make sure that, it captivates the audience. Some examples of titles that we've used in the past that, for example, speaking from heart to heart, or, poisonous beauty. When we had a proposal on, talking about toxins in, facial creams, for example, mercury, poisoning, all that. So that's an example of a title that you want to be able to make sure it's short, concise, but also captivates the audience. But it also reflects the content of your presentation as well. Okay. That's all right. So again, it's important for you. You'll see the form here that you mark. Again, check 1, for example, what category your workshop falls under, of these 6 categories here. Also make sure you check off what type of workshop it is, and also what skill level the workshop will be presented at. Many times, this is the information that we're missing, so we're not able to fully evaluate and the proposal, and this might be a reason why it might not be accepted. So in order to best meet the professional and personal training needs of promotores and community health workers, the program committee viewed participant comments and suggestions from past conferences. Additionally, we see current trends in health, education, immigration, and other topics that are of interest and are considered when planning the topics for the conference workshops. So please view the following categories and identify one of the best represents your workshop proposal. Okay. For example, mental health. This topic area includes workshops on the prevention and management of emotional, mental, and psychological factors that affect promotores and their communities, and strategies and techniques to address these issues. These factors may include emotional intelligence, sexuality, family violence, healthy relationships, addictions, setting boundaries, and among other topics as well. Under professional development, these workshops, again, identification and strengthening and development of skills and abilities that promotores can use to more effectively carry out their daily responsibilities in the profession and personal domains. They may include communication, group dynamics, team building, emotional intelligence, self-accountability, economic sustainability, public speaking, presentation skills, business writing, project management, among others. Under the category of social and environmental health, these can include identification and management of social and environmental factors that affect communities' well-being. Factors may include climate change, the Affordable Care Act, managing the healthcare system, immigration, education, and social awareness. Under advocacy and policy, here we're looking to identify workshops with identifying factors and strengthening skills that influence the political environment and advocacy skills that promotores can carry out in representation of their communities. This may include the legislative process, community organizing, developing community campaigns, asset mapping, among others. Under physical health, here we're looking for workshops on prevention, management, treatment, and on physical issues that directly affect a person's physical health, including nutrition, fitness, physical activity, sexual health, stress reduction, cancer, other chronic conditions, and among other topics. Under technology and internet and social media, here workshops could include identification and management of factors that relate to the use of technology and its relationship with communication. These factors include computer literacy, bridging the technology gap, conducting effective internet searches, internet security, and the healthy use of social media, for example, like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and among others. Okay. So under the workshop type, like Myra mentioned earlier, under the informative educational category, again, the workshop will facilitate an educational or informative process that incorporates critical thinking activities about the subject matter. Okay. Under skill building, we want to focus on the process of applying and practicing information in a manner that is practical, experiential, or interactive, and uses strategies and methods appropriate to build skills and abilities among the participants. Under participatory research, again, this includes research information that is relevant to promotores, research that includes promotores as participants, or promotores as research partners themselves. Under best practices, we want the workshop to focus on sharing methods, models, examples, effective innovative strategies that are creating change in our society or our community. And the last category here under program development and sustainability, again, we want these workshops to include important elements that initiate, implement, evaluate, maintain, and advocate for a program. And lastly, on the levels, again, to reiterate what was already mentioned earlier, to help the conference participants choose a workshop that is best supports their level of content and their skills. Again, we want the developer learner, and please, we want to use these categories. So again, fundamental, designed for participants at any level who seek information and or skills about a topic for the first time. And also it supports the development of fundamental understanding of the topic, upon which they will later build up on more advanced content or skills. At the intermediate level, again, this is designed for participants who have a fundamental understanding or practical experience with the topic and who seek to update or strengthen their understanding in its content or skill application. And finally, for the advanced, these workshops, this level is designed to present and discuss content and or skills to participants who have a high degree of mastery of the topic and who seek advanced understanding to train, evaluate, and create programs related to the topic, such as best practices, evaluation strategies, and program development. So for the workshop description, we want to make sure that, please describe the workshop. The description will be used by the conference committee to understand your proposal. And also, like I said, when we review it, some questions to help guide your description include: why this topic? What is relevant? What relevance does this topic have to promotores and community health workers, for example? In what way is the topic relevant to the conference and the conference theme? How will I present this topic? What will the participants learn as a result of attending my workshop, right? And again, those are prompting questions. So the conference committee will create a short description for the conference program, but we would like a longer description for the workshop so that we as a committee can, do a full assessment of the workshop content. For the objectives, again, develop and list 1 to 3 learning objectives for your workshop that will be selected, if this is selected, and it will be included in the registration materials. Commonly, promotores learn new information and their skills at this conference. So make sure your objectives are clear and that they are realistic given amount of time that you have during the workshop to complete them. Next slide. So presentation plan and outline. Again, we ask that you please provide a detailed description of this workshop. This part of the proposal is very important. The detailed narrative must reflect how the topic will be presented or developed during your workshop. It is especially important that you explain what skills promotores and community health workers will learn through your workshop. And remember that the presentation will be 2 hours long, which includes the 5-minute welcome and introduction from the moderator, and then 110 minutes max for presentation of content by the facilitators or facilitator. Again, using interactive and experiential adult learning methodologies to stimulate questions and answers throughout the presentation. Please include within this time a space for question and answers. And then also we ask that you allocate 5 minutes for participants to complete the written workshop evaluation that is provided by Visión y Compromiso at the end. All right. So this is part of the form that you will see, the workshop proposal form, in which we want you to fill out that information and do a breakdown of the activities, the amount allotted, and actually a clear description of what activities are taking place. Many times we have, proposals where they'll just say, oh, PowerPoint presentation. If it is, we want to make sure you explain further, what is the content? Are activities going to be, provided during that time? How is that activity going to be facilitated? What it entails? So please provide as much information as possible within the content so we can have a better view or an assessment of what your workshop will entail as is being reviewed by the committee. So on the description and interactive activities, again, this is another opportunity for you to describe how you will involve the participants in interactive ways. So what we are asking as part of the requirement is that your workshop be interactive, and how these activities will motivate the participants and their participation. Okay, so again, being very descriptive is very important. And also to under participant materials, as part of your proposal, please submit all materials that you will be distributing during the workshop. List and describe these materials here. And we know sometimes, they may not be available, but if you can do the best to give us as much information as possible, that will help the committee also as well, evaluate your proposal. Information and resources. Again, list experiences, literature, and studies that support the content of your workshop. So any information you can provide there is very important. Under category number 10, facilitators' experience and biography. Like I said, we can be, supported by literature, also by experience as well. We ask that you provide us with a biography. Please provide a brief biography in Spanish and in English. Write it in third person, using no more than 5 words or 75 words, or less. Okay. Separate the biography is required for each facilitator and presenter. So we need to have one for each person that's presenting during the workshop. Visión y Compromiso may modify your workshop title, description, objectives in order to fit within the registration and program restrictions. In order to avoid this, please follow the guidelines provided, stay within the word limitations, provide clear objectives, and a descriptive and inviting title. Okay. So again, some changes to note for this year's conference. Again, this year, for the first time, the conference will be held in a hybrid format, meaning we will have virtual and in-person workshops. We encourage presenters from outside of California to submit proposals for online workshops, which will be streamed virtually. Also, there is the possibility of your workshop being broadcast live for participants who prefer to participate online. If your workshop is chosen and it meets the requirements to adapt to a virtual format, we will ask for your authorization to broadcast live. We emphasize that Visión y Compromiso prioritize interactive workshops based on popular education methodology. So once again, important dates to keep in mind that the deadline for the proposal submission is June 14th. And this is the email address which will be sent to. Email is propuestas@visionycompromiso.org. If you are choosing to mail it in, make sure that you know that this is the post address that you will send it to. And again, people who submit some proposals will be notified if you are selected by July 28th, 2022. To reiterate, the application should be downloaded. You should download the PDF form and fill that out. And again, you can also use a Word document to answer the questions that are being asked. And you can email it back in a PDF or Word format and attach all materials and PowerPoint to that email. Again, because that will give the committee all the information we need, or as much information as we need to evaluate your proposal effectively. And the last thing here, so again, this is a quick checklist that we, that is made available that helps kind of our proposal. This is what we will utilize as a committee to, ensure that everything is included in there in your proposal for once it's being evaluated. So again, make sure that the facilitator information is there, no more than 3 facilitators, that your title is concise, catchy, again, 25-word limit, that you identify the category of a workshop, what type of workshop it is, the skill level of the workshop. When you write your workshop description, make sure it's clear, concise, no more than 75 words, that you have 1 to 3 objectives, 25-word limit per objective, please. Again, that your presentation outline or plan is fully filled out with descriptions of activities and everything, and that it must be 120 minutes in length. Again, take into account the 5-minute presentation and the 5-minute for evaluations at the end. Make sure you provide a description of all the interactive activities. And then if applicable, make sure if you have any materials that are going to be handed out to participants, that those are included, whether it's a link or a sample of that material. That you also, if applicable, provide the information on resources if those are going to be provided for the participants. And ensure that you have your facilitator biographies for all facilitators, again, with a max of 150-word limit, okay? And again, also too, that you note on your proposal if you will be using or requiring any audiovisual equipment in any specific room preparation or setup. That is also part of the application as well. Next one. So again, thank you so much for your participation. If you have any questions related to the submission of your proposal, this is the contact information. You will the 2 individuals who will be able to assist you with that process. Okay, so thank you so much, and we're looking forward to your proposals and good luck.
And did we have any questions?
If you
Yeah,
could,
thank you, Mireya.
Oh, lady, I see a question, and it's from Karen. It says, how will you decide who presents in person and who presents virtually?
You can decide that. If you are in LA area, in Los Angeles area, you can present in person. If you are from another state or from another country, you can present virtually. It's up to the presenters, sorry.
Great, thank you.
and could you give a little bit more clarity around the target audience? Could you just go over that bit once?
Yes. So let me go back to that slide. So let me, like who the targeted audience is for the conference?
For the workshops.
Well, I think that sorry. So the people attending the conference are, community health workers, promotores, like we said, directors, managers, coordinators. So depending on your presentation, you can, you say who will be there, but that's who attends the workshops. I don't know if that answers your.
Yeah,
That
I
does.
can,
Yeah,
I
go ahead,
can
yeah.
complete with that, Mayra. Maybe if you show the slide, we had some target audiences, and we have all type of people, like Mayra said. But if you want to target some specific audience, you need to write it down in your proposal. For example, if your workshop is about gender roles, masculinity, or youth, or only women, or specific topic, it's better for you to tell us what is your target audience. For example, promotores and general public is it's all the public that you're going to have in the conference. But if you want to target audience, for example, program directors, coordinators, managers, it's related to the type of workshop or the if it's advanced or not. So for example, for a program director or a coordinator or a manager, you can target that audience making or creating a workshop about how to supervise promotoras or how to create a new role for a promotora in an organization. So it's going to be related with your proposal.
I had another question. We presented last year at the conference, and would we be able to do a similar presentation on the topic that we did? We did mental health and talked about loss and grief, and it was a really popular topic with the audience. And we think that it would have a different impact if we do it in person.
Yeah, totally. You're welcome to present. Of course, it's going to be different from the last year because it was virtual, as you said. And after COVID, I think we have experienced some of that type of mental health needs in our families. So yeah, you're welcome to do the same workshop.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, the topic is relevant, and just let us know what is different this year, maybe a different approach on it, and then so you just emphasize that that because we do sometimes look at, like I said, proposals from the previous years, and oh, that's very similar. So definitely tell us how how it's different and how it would apply now.
Okay, definitely. Thank you for the advice.
And Mayra, can you go back to the last slide where is the checklist? So maybe you want to take a screenshot of that slide because it's very important. It's a guide for you to the other one. Yeah, that one. It's a guide for you when you're writing your proposal. Be checking if we have all the information and all the specific word limit and everything. So thank you, Mireya and Mayra, for bringing that today to the presentation. And if we don't have any more questions, we can finish the webinar, and I would like to thank Mireya and Mayra for helping with this committee for so long and for being here today. And thank you, Marisha and Karen, for being here attending. And we encourage you to spread the word, invite other promotores, invite other colleagues from your organizations. This is a big conference. We want to have it. It's going to be special because it's the 20th, but also we are coming back to be in person after 2 years. So we're very excited about this version of the conference today. I don't know, Mayra, Maria, Mireya, if you want to say something before we end.
No, I just want to thank you guys for your interest in submitting a proposal. And again, just reiterate to please make sure it is complete by checking, all this checklist. Because this year we will start sending them back if they're incomplete and asking you, like you missed objective, like a third objective, please complete it. So we just avoid time and just send us a complete proposal so that we can do the review process a lot faster. Thank you.
And I just want to thank them again for being here, for attending the webinar. Thank you very much. And we'll really appreciate if you guys they say, spread the word so we can get other people to, to know this and present their proposal. So the more the merrier.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Quick question. We have a newsletter that covers different counties in California, Arizona, and Nevada. Would it be okay to share this information on that newsletter?
Yes, thank you. More than
Absolutely.
okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Absolutely.
great,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, yeah, and I can work with one of you to send like some proposed just writing or advertisement, or if there's something that you would like to share. Yeah, I'd be more than happy to include
you.
that. Mhm.
Yes.
That'll be great. Thank you.
Awesome,
And
thank
all
you.
the information you can find it in our website, bycconference.org. That's our official website for the conference.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, thank you all. See you soon. We will wait for your proposals. We're ready to start checking and create a new conference for this year. Thank you very
Excellent.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great day.
All right,
Bye
thank you.
bye.
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 Thank you.